Estão aí. As pessoas querem mais. Os nossos clientes exigem mais. E nós esperamos mais de nós próprios.
Debemos tener claro nuestro propósito. Hacia las personas, hacia la sociedad y hacia el planeta.
Y el momento de actuar es ahora.
Let's refresh our relations with society, communities, connecting through our commitment to improve lives.
Vamos redefinir o nosso portfólio e reduzir a intensidade de CO2 da energia que produzimos e também a dos produtos que vendemos aos nossos clientes.
Vamos recriar a forma como trabalhamos, capacitando as nossas equipes, acreditando que todos podemos atingir o melhor potencial.
Vamos liderar o nosso setor a caminho de futuro onde protejamos o nosso planeta.
Delight our customers.
Re-energizing our talent and making Galp a great place to work. Let's regenerate the future together.
Every single day, we face choices about what we buy, what we eat, how we travel. Every single day, we can make a difference, taking little steps towards making our world a better place to live. Not acting now will have huge consequences on the quality of life on the planet. Change starts with every single one of us. It's time to step up. My mom wants to save the planet.
Daddy makes our garden green.
They use a computer to save the world.
At Inven, we have one mission. We help startups.
As a venture capital fund, we invest money from institutional investors and global corporates. We partner with the most innovative startups with one purpose: to hand over a blue and green planet to our kids.
We nurture new leadership to make an impact, influence others, and enable thousands of job opportunities where diversity of gender, culture, and religion matters.
Although we are analytical, fact-based investors, more importantly for us, it is empathy that helps us ask the right questions and provide sound guidance and support for our startups. Simply, we believe in the soul of a winner.
The founders of the startups that we invest in are visionaries with integrity and a view to the bigger picture. They're driven less by profit than by the impact they can make. They have this strong inner motivation to help them get through difficult times.
Inven is a team of women and men from different backgrounds and nationalities, professional investors and parents. We use our talents, knowledge and passion to find and support the most impactful startups in the clean tech industry.
Leaner Energy is developing a solid-state sodium battery technology which doesn't include any cobalt or any lithium, and it's using a chemistry set which was used many, many years ago. And what we're doing is we're just re-engineering it using modern materials science and modern materials engineering.
This is a really good chemistry. It can be used in all sorts of applications, sort of grid, renewable support, electrification of vehicles, all these really big future and becoming really quite current topics which we really need to address as a sort of global community.
What excites me about the technology is how beautifully simple it is and how it really does solve a big problem that we have in the transition to sort of net zero from fossil fuel to full renewables, full electrification.
It's in a market that's really growing, so it's something that really excites me because it's different. Everybody's looking at lithium, you know, it's been done to death. This is something that's new, different, and tackles a number of the problems that lithium can't really meet. So that's why it's quite exciting for me.
It's a rare opportunity to actually get the chance to design something that
that is truly important for us as human beings for the future.
Vegetation coming into contact with overhead lines is a major cause of power outages. LiveEO uses satellite data to identify risks to power grids from vegetation. These insights make vegetation management more efficient and service more reliable. But how does the information from space get to the forest worker on the ground? Here's how it works. There are several hundred Earth observation satellites orbiting our planet. These satellite constellations are run by different operators. The satellites differ in terms of the quality and resolution of the images they capture, how often they pass over the same location, and what wavelength range their sensors can record. LiveEO uses APIs with multiple satellite operators to automatically acquire the right imagery for the areas close to the overhead lines along the entire network. Our machine learning algorithms analyze the satellite imagery and identify vegetation. The algorithms can not only detect the tree's location, but also their height, as well as their species and vitality. Knowing where the vegetation is and what its condition is, the system applies risk models to the analysis. It evaluates the risk posed by vegetation being close to the asset and of trees that could fall into the power lines. Based on the risk assessment, the system automatically generates and prioritizes maintenance and inspection tasks. Utilities vegetation managers have access to all this information via LiveEO's web application and can assign tasks to subcontractors. Ground workers access tasks assigned to them via LiveEO's mobile app, so they know exactly where to go and what to do. They perform cutbacks and inspections and document their work directly in the app. This way, vegetation managers are always up to date on the state of vegetation along their network and can act before outages occur.
Founded in 1998,
commercialize fusion power we developed based on work I did with my brilliant mentor and PhD advisor, Norm Rostocker at the University of California, Irvine. What we were after was really a different way to develop fusion. The goal was to have something that's economic, free of any kinds of environmental impact, and has abundant fuel source. We started in 2000 with what we lovingly called the sewer pipe, which was our first generation device. In fact, it uses all the same technologies and principles that you find on Norman, our 5th generation machine back here. Norman is a progression of ever more sophisticated national lab scale devices to get us to that point of proof of science. To now scale forward to its successor, which we call Copernicus.
3, 2, 1. 0, liftoff.
Just like when NASA went to the moon in the 60s and developed tons of technology that spilled over into our life today, so we here at TAE Technologies have taken a lot of the things we developed for fusion that now have unique capabilities in other adjacent spaces. This is the kind of synergy that you will see happening more as we mature technologies. As proud as I am about the developments we've accomplished, it really comes down to the people and the teamwork among these people to support such a quest. We've put together some of the best people on the planet necessary to do the work. And that is as much the character of TAE as our innovative spirit and our ability to drive the cutting edge. After over 20 years of revolutionary, groundbreaking work, we're finally at the point to attack the 21st century's most existential problem, which is how to grow a population and meet the demand for energy without hurting the environment. In addition, there's the incredible opportunity with the spin-offs, which can also help to contribute in incredibly meaningful ways to improve the quality of life for all of mankind.
We know a thing or two about growth. Over the last 100 years, we've grown and evolved to get pretty good at certain things. World-class projects, global infrastructure, technology at scale. But how do we adapt for the next 100 years? In nature, you don't get to choose how. You take the hand you're dealt. And if the environmental conditions become too challenging, hard luck. That's natural selection. At BP Ventures, we're able to forge our own destiny. We look deeply into the changing energy landscape to search out the right avenues to develop our future, finding the partners and opportunities that allow us to improve on our strengths and build interesting new ones. From new battery technology or cognitive AI, to growing a network of EV charging stations, and adding solar projects to our capabilities. We're highly discerning, because these new ideas and technologies aren't mere additions to a portfolio. They're vital pieces of the puzzle that we seek to integrate into the world's energy systems. Harnessing each of our strengths to transition together. Because when we collaborate, everyone benefits. It takes us all to new heights. BP Ventures, connecting and growing new energy businesses.
Doing business responsibly is now a mainstream issue, and we empower better business through traceability. Global supply chains are big emitters of greenhouse gases, with a lack of transparency in terms of raw product sourcing and ethics around them. Our mission is traceability and due diligence of raw materials, from source to manufacturer, with a current focus on the minerals used in electrical vehicles and consumer electronics. To achieve this, we're using blockchain alongside traditional databases and machine learning to establish a new global standard for ethically and sustainably sourced minerals. How do we do this? By reliably giving a commodity an identity and tracking it through the supply chain, together with greenhouse gas emissions and ESG data, along the journey from mine to consumption to recycling and reuse. Circular empowers businesses to fully analyse, track and manage their supply chains to drive and prove responsible sourcing and recycling. Circular. Empowering better business through traceability.
Leaner Energy is developing a solid-state sodium battery technology which doesn't include any cobalt or any lithium, and it's using a chemistry set which was used many, many years ago. And what we're doing is we're just re-engineering it using modern materials science and modern materials engineering.
This is a really good chemistry. It can be used in all sorts of applications, sort of grid, renewable support, electrification of vehicles, all these really big future and becoming really quite current topics which we really need to address as a sort of global community.
What excites me about the technology is how beautifully simple it is and how it really does solve a big, big problem that we have in the transition to sort of net zero from fossil fuel to full renewables, full electrification.
It's in a market that's really growing, so it's something that really excites me because it's different. Everybody's looking at lithium, it's been done to death. This is something that's new, different, and tackles a number of the problems that lithium can't really meet. So that's why it's quite exciting for me.
It's a rare opportunity to actually get the chance to design something that is truly important for us as human beings for the future.
If you want to know something, hear it from the best.
I don't even know what I said.
Oh, yeah, I should probably write this down.
We're talking game-changing, mission-starting, growth-accelerating global leaders.
I'm a bridge builder, tech investor, CEO and founder,
Innovation scout.
So I'm a partner, entrepreneur, investments,
And I'm curious.
The ones who thought of it, said it, wrote the code for it, invented it. The ones you might know, and the ones you should know. They're all right here, virtually. Future Fuel.
The future fuel. People who are hungry for change. Something that actually just makes me feel good. Just one thing.
The next best idea.
Turning ideas into clear solutions.
Thank you for coffee at Future Fuel.
Start up your day with innovations, game changers. This is how you fuel your future.
There's never been a time in history when electricity is more important to our economy and our way of life. Electricity powers all of our critical infrastructure, our economy, healthcare, education, you name it. The electric power industry is facing the greatest disruptions in its 120-year history. EIP is an essential tool for utilities to cope with these changes successfully.
Our approach is very simple. We work with some of the leading utilities and energy companies in the world, helping them plot a path into the future. We provide them with insights and information about new technologies, business models. They in turn help us find and screen what we believe have the potential to be the winners in the space, in the segments that matter to them. And then together we work hard on making them successful. Everybody wins.
We pioneered this investing model while we were at GE, and we're applying it here at Energy Impact Partners.
I've been working in the venture capital industry for 20 years. We learned a lot of lessons during that period, the Clean Tech 1.0 era. Many of the startups worked in opposition to the electric utilities. It turns out that was a mistake.
Utilities need to change their business models. Innovators need to work with and partner with the utility industry and with our investors. What's unique about the EIP process is the collaboration which occurs between the utilities and the innovators. It creates a win-win-win situation. A win for the innovators because they can deploy their product, a win for our utility investors because they can see the future and deploy into that future, and a win for us at EIP.
What really separates a good strategic investor from a great one, and I think EIP really is a great strategic investor, is how much or how successful they are at capturing the attention of the industry that they're serving. And I think that EIP has been incredibly successful.
Selling to utilities has historically been very difficult, and we look to make that process much easier by connecting our portfolio companies to our 15 global utilities.
The beauty of our model is that when you bring together the best innovators in the space with our incredible partner network, great things can happen.
Energy Impact Partners has been indispensable for us. The breadth of their relationships around the world has been hugely beneficial to AMS, and some of their portfolio companies are some of the top technology partners that any company could hope to have.
Venture investing is becoming a critically important strategy tool for Southern Company. EIP can move quickly to source and execute on deals while we focus on bringing new products and services to our customers.
Every 6 weeks, we gather our partners and our utilities here in the office to hear from some of the most promising, exciting companies. We like to call it our little energy shark tank, and it's a great way for us to hear and learn from companies whether we invest in them or not.
We work hand in hand with each of our utility partners to understand their strategic priorities and to help them collaborate with the companies in our portfolio who are most likely to have a positive impact on their business.
And the insights that we're getting from that deal flow and from the EIP portfolio companies are helping us reimagine what our business model looks like in the future.
It provides us an incredible financial vehicle to access innovative technologies, but it also provided us a very collaborative framework to work with other industry participants solving our customer needs through new technologies with partner companies.
We're conservative investors. While we want to capture the upside, we really focus on protecting against the downside.
We respect each other and our partners. We're in this together.
So the credit fund is an extension of EIP's traditional, equity capabilities.
we can now provide debt finance solutions to companies across their life cycle, whether they're growth or mature stage, and structure that debt in a way that addresses their specific needs at the time.
They've really sort of joined the management team and helped us understand what utilities need, where the market's going, what products are important, not just to residential customers, but to utilities too.
Together with our partners, we are saving electricity, reducing greenhouse gases, and simultaneously we are having an impact on the energy landscape by making it smarter and cleaner.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you are ready for the Energy Tech Challenges Superfinals 2022. If you are only tuning in now, so I kindly remind you that this is the leading industry startup competition of the year, identifying the world's top energy tech and e-mobility innovators. This year, we have received over 400 applications, but only 70 startups have made it to the top to compete for the attention of key global investors and media exposure. On Tuesday, the finalists pitched their companies live to remarkable members of the jury, and after tough decision-making, our judges have picked 7 game-changing challenges, so buckle up for their final pitches. But before we begin, I would like to give a special thanks to our main partner, Future Energy Ventures, and strategic partners, BP Ventures, Launchpad, and Bloomberg and EF. Of course, we couldn't have come this far without your support, and it is a great pleasure to work with you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our remarkable members of the jury who will help us to announce the winner of Energy Tech Challenges 2022. So give a round of applause for our honorable jury members. Vincent Brilot, Managing Director at Allied Air Liquid Venture Capital. Mariana Costa, Principal at EDP Ventures. Lloyd Schatzen, Investment Director at Coris. Joel Lopez, Corporate Venture Capital Associate at Galp. Hermione Baker, Solution Engineer, Infrastructure at Esri. Larry Tamonen, Director Forecasting and Analysis at Sumitomo SHIFW. Aziz Rahim, Principal at Siemens Energy Ventures. Markus Laubscher, Global Director of Circular Economy and Regeneration at Orbia. Paul Hodel, Managing Consultant Directional at Inosi, Australia. And also, we're going to have our jury members joining us virtually. And I would like to introduce all of them. Shruti Shrivastava, Principal at Abana Capital. Benjamin Caffrey, Global Head of Client Relations and Commercial Strategy at Bloomberg NEF. Jim McNeil, Chief Marketing Officer at Tire Technologies. Karolis Mirinavičius, Innovation Expert at Ignitis Group. I'm Eric Wayland, CEO at Mobility Makers. Frederick Bischoff, Venture Partner at Invent Capital. Mark von Keitz, Director Oceans at Graham Foundation for the Protection of the Environment. So all together now, let's share a round of applause to all our jury members. We thank you very much joining with us on this really special occasion, and we do believe that you have a lot of questions prepared for the finalists. So let me shortly remind you the rules of the live pitches. Each company will have 5 minutes for live pitch and 5 additional 5 minutes for the questions and answers from our jury members. When evaluating the presentations, jury members will consider 6 criteria. Problem each of the company is addressing with their solution, product or service, go-to-market strategy, progress and traction, team and potential of future financing. So I hope that you are ready, and we wish the very best of luck to all our contestants. And so let's start with the winner of the emissions management and carbon removal category, Circular. So please welcome Douglas Johnson, co-founder and CEO of the company. And we're going to have the first pitch. Once again, I would like to remind you that it is 5 minutes for the pitch and then 5 minutes for questions and answers. So,
thank you very much.
The floor is yours, and 5 minutes for you.
Thank you very much. Doug Johnson Pernsgen from Circular. Our business is traceability in complex industrial supply chains. Why? Making stuff, particularly those things that we rely on for the energy transition, is enormously carbon intensive. And the majority of that is inherited emissions from the supply chain. Inherited Scope 3 emissions are probably the challenge of our lifetimes if we're to make the energy transition actually work. You'll see there, for example, automotive, the EV battery accounts for 50% of the carbon footprint of an EV at the point at which a consumer picks up the keys. And half of all of those carbon emissions come from the battery. And the challenge, if you are a downstream OEM, is understanding what's going on in your deeper tiers of your supply chain. You can't manage something you can't measure. That's the first step. And using your procurement action to make a difference. There's a significant challenge around quality of data. Many carbon accounting solutions exist. There's a plethora of them. Most of them are deriving data from emissions factors and other generic benchmarks. We're not. 5 years into this journey, we've been creating digital threads that follow raw materials right the way through some supply chains, from rock all the way through to car, and also starting to do some circular economy examples of it, and attaching to that flow of materials data about ESG credentials, and most specifically inherited CO2 emissions, Scope 1 and 2 emissions attributed, a slice attributed from each of the participants that touch those materials along the journey from rock to car. So what we're doing is giving manufacturers, like car manufacturers, unprecedented insight into what's going on in their supply chains. Where has my stuff come from? Very important to questions of responsible sourcing. No one wants child labor in their supply chain. But equally, when I know who's touched it, in what proportion, at what time, and what their energy mix is, I can actually understand battery per battery, which of course the EU battery regulations require, exactly what the inherited carbon emissions are. And these are real screenshots from the platform. Some of our customers, we're probably the leader today in EV battery traceability around the world, both for consumer electronics and also EV manufacturers. Selected 3 days ago at the start of this week by the German government alongside a consortium of German car manufacturers to create the first battery passport for German industry. And you can see commodity traders and others on here as well. These are 3 to 7 year contracts, and as you can see, we will shortly hit 10 million ARR. It's a crowded space, as you all know, particularly members of the jury. You see businesses every single day. Many of these businesses, have features, but that doesn't necessarily create a successful business long term. Our particular differentiation is that we're doing it based on the flow of materials, which is why we've attracted those brands to come and work with us. And this space is ripe for consolidation. We have a deep competitive moat. I'm sure we can cover that in questions. Just raised our Series B, about 70 people now around the globe in Asia Pacific, Europe, and North America. We are very much into the expansion phase, a significant sales pipeline, both through our own direct sales and also starting to acquire the likes of some very big companies as indirect sales channel partners, particularly Big Four consultancies. The full complement of skills that you would expect in a business at our stage of its journey. Next challenge is a Series C, probably in about 12 months' time. Don't just take my word for it. Last month, Digital Europe, which is the collection of technology associations from each of the countries in Europe, selected us as the winner of their Future Unicorn Award. And we were also selected this year as part of the Clean Tech 100, which many of you will know is a bit of a roll call of those innovators making a real difference in the world. Thank you very much for your attention. I'd be delighted to hear your questions.
Thank you so much. You made it in 4 minutes.
Good.
All right, so yeah, who would like to start asking question? Okay, we have the microphone. Of course, we're watching our judges online, and also we see that they also have questions.
Great. Hi.
Doug, thanks. Great pitch and great product and service that you're putting forward. We haven't heard much about your team of excellent colleagues who are putting this all together. Can you share a bit more about that?
Well, 70 people, 3 continents, a sales team of 14 now. In my senior leadership team, I now have all of the skills that you would expect of a business like ours, from CFO through to chief marketing officers, chief sales officer. CTO has been on the journey all the way through. The development team accounts for about 1/3 of our total headcount. So we've got everything that you would expect of a business at this level of maturity.
Okay, another question is online, so I see raised hands. So please go ahead, your question.
Can you enlighten us a little bit on how you make sure that data that get into the system are really true data and proper data?
Yes.
Because you depend, I guess, on many entries across a complex chain to get valuable results.
Absolutely right. So first thing is, no human touches the data. So once you get, we're actually working in managed artisanal sites for people like Trafigura to digitize commodity in some of the most challenging environments, which we've developed a whole variety of mobile applications to do. Again, no human touches the data. Once you move into the developed world, we're taking production data directly from over API from production management systems, which connect goods in through start production, various steps through production to goods out. Obviously, the output product is rarely the same as the input ingredient, certainly in a complex industrial supply chain. Augmenting that with information that could be anything from auditors' reports to third-party validated data, such as, for example, energy mix.
We still got 2 minutes. If you have any more questions, just give us a sign. Yeah, I see that the question from Bloomberg.
Hi.
Yes, hi. Can you share more about your competitive landscape and how you are different?
Yes, so the biggest competitor is the status quo, which is a combination of spreadsheets and greenwashing. Actually, when it comes to traceability, most traceability solutions focus on attempting to track the paperwork between participants in the supply chain, not the physical flow of materials. Supply chain fraud is as old as mankind. And so if we only trusted the paperwork, we'd have that crap in, crap out problem that was just posed by a previous questioner. So it's the broader carbon accounting space is very crowded. Differing levels of sophistication and maturity in those businesses. We see that as just one feature of a broader challenge around digitizing the lower tiers of supply chains in order to gain visibility and illuminate them.
One more question here in the audience, please.
Thanks for having another one. You have talked about batteries in cars.
Yep.
I assume this is your beachhead to get into the market. Can you talk about your roadmap and a little bit more about how big is this market? What's the kind of revenues that you expect to get?
Sure. So we started with EV batteries. Obviously, high-value commodity lends itself to something like this, which is new and potentially quite expensive. We're already working in construction projects, green steel, green cement, same challenges. Done projects in the chemical recycling of plastic waste with Total. Now going into solar panels, obviously rules of origin for silicon oxide are a significant concern in some countries. So there are many materials necessary, for example, to the energy transition. Green steel, green cement, obviously just as relevant to onshore wind, offshore wind. There's no point building a wind farm with unsustainably produced steel and aluminium. You'll have to run it for a decade just to repay the cost of building it. The addressable market, every one of us would have a different attempt at working out what that is. Most people measure it in trillions. The reality is, as an enabler like this, we see a market in the next probably 2 years that will allow us to get to about 100 million of revenue 2 years from now.
Douglas, thank you so much. Time's up.
Thank you.
10 minutes. Thank you so much for the very first speech. We need to share a round of applause for those who always are the first on the stage. And now we are going forward, and now it is time for the battery. I would like now to welcome Carolyn Hicks, co-founder and CFO at Brill Power, the winning company of the battery track. So once again, 5 minutes for the pitch, and then 5 minutes for Q&A.
Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Carolyn, and I'm a co-founder of Brill Power, where our mission is to revolutionize energy storage. We have developed, tested, validated, and are currently selling technology that can make batteries perform better, last longer, cost less, and be more sustainable. But where do we fit in the world of batteries? I think we're all familiar with the applications of energy storage, electric vehicles, and stationary energy storage. We're probably all pretty familiar with the OEMs and the cell makers that go in to make that happen. What perhaps we're less familiar with is the electronics, the battery management system. The battery management system is the intelligence of every battery pack. It controls the charge and discharge of the system and is able to tell the system what's happening as it goes. This is where we sit. What does Brill Power do that's different? Let's start with how a system currently works. Battery packs are made up of multiple cells. These cells must be connected in series in order to meet the voltage requirement of the system. In a conventional pack, all of the cells will be exposed to the same current. And while this may not make much of a difference at its start of life, over time the cells will degrade at drastically different rates, and the entire pack will be limited by the weakest cell within the pack. At Brill Power, we take a different approach. We take a distributed approach. 3 things inside the system. First, we check every series connection to see what's going on within each node. We then run an optimization to see how we can get the most out of what's already inside of the pack. And then finally, by having the hardware to enable the performance, we're able to draw current in the way that best optimizes exactly what's in the system. And that means that we're able to extract every joule out of each cycle of the pack throughout its entire lifetime. So what do we actually make? Right now, we're making the full battery management system. What I'm holding here, a printed circuit board with software embedded on it. What we'll move towards later is a licensing model, where our customers, who are battery pack makers, will be able to integrate our design into their system in whatever format, size, and capacity that they're looking for. We sell this to the electric vehicle and stationary storage markets, effectively large systems where solving that weakest link problem can really make a difference. None of this would be possible without our incredible team. My 3 co-founders are the inventors of this technology, which they invented while doing their PhDs at the University of Oxford. We're now a team of 25 people, made up of engineers and business people who are the most incredible, hardworking people I've ever met. But you don't just have to believe me. We took the plunge and we sent our technology to independent validation firm D&V based in the Netherlands. They were able to confirm that what we do in our battery management system is different than in a conventional pack. They connected our BMS to modules that were drastically different in performance. They set it up with a conventional approach and then separately with ours. And as you can see, they were able to extract 129% more capacity from the system. What would that mean in the real world? We asked engineering firm WSP. In a pack that uses a Brill Power battery management system in a 50 megawatt setup, you would be able to reduce the payback period by approximately 5 years. And that's using the same cells, but different electronics and different intelligence. We're advancing across all of our major markets. In the small-scale energy storage, we've already launched our first product. In the large-scale systems, we have our first pilot going out in the coming weeks. And then electric vehicles, we've been working alongside some of the major manufacturers in order to develop the technology and get that into the vehicle applications we're looking for. I don't need to tell this audience that the battery market is big and growing very quickly, but what I will point out is that the battery management system is growing equally as quickly and alongside the battery market. Every battery has a battery management system, and I encourage you to stop ignoring the electronics that are going into each of these packs. We've closed a pre-seed and seed funding round and are currently working on our Series A. We've raised this funding from both equity and non-dilutive sources with the pleasure of working on a number of research projects along the way from various entities within Europe and the UK. We'll use our Series A funding in order to introduce new products to the market and again advance that EV technology. And following that, we'll be looking for a Series B fundraising round for geographic expansion. So please come talk to me. I'm really keen to tell you more about Brill Power, about our technology, and how you might want to get involved in the new era of battery intelligence. Thanks very much.
Caroline, thank you so much. You brought here actually a device, right? And we all need batteries after 2 days at the conference. And OK, now it is time for the questions. And I see immediately first question online, but we need to look at the screen. And we have the question. So go ahead, please.
Hi, Caroline. Good to see you again. Love your tech. A question here for me is, how does this all fit into the production logistics in the manufacturing industry? Does it create a disturbance on how batteries are being packed or produced or the form factors that they take? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So when we set out to set up Brill Power, we wanted to avoid battery waste, thinking that we would extend battery lifetime. But the question that we hadn't really considered is, what are pack makers doing right now to deal with this weakest link problem? And what we discovered after digging into it a bit further is that the packs are actually oversized at their start of life, so that by the time they get to 5 years of age, they'll be able to meet their performance requirements. So instead of, it's kind of two sides of the same coin. You could either have a pack that lasts much longer, or you could have a pack that is appropriately sized at the beginning of life, which means that you would need further cells, further size, fewer cells, less size, and a smaller pack from the beginning of life.
More questions here? Yes, we do have one.
Okay, so what's the competition, and is there some way that would prevent these battery makers from making this control system themselves?
Yeah, two very good questions. The current battery management system market is primarily made up of cell makers who are providing a battery management system alongside a module. And so that's what's, in our opinion, making them sort of less enthusiastic about caring too much about the battery management system, because their core business is producing the cells. There are some really innovative other BMS startups who are looking at something similar. They don't take quite the same approach as we do in terms of that distributed look at the cell performance and the communication system that we have. And so that brings me to the second question, which is how are we protected effectively? And we have 4 patents that are filed to protect this technology. The control mechanism is one of them. The distributed control is the second 2, and the third one is about communication. So if you imagine dozens or hundreds of these nodes, they need to send information to and from the logistics. And so our CTO came up with a really intelligent way of putting that through a very few number of wires instead of 1 per module.
More questions? Yeah, we still have more questions here. And 2 minutes.
I'm wondering who would be your ideal, let's say, design partner who can, help you test this in the real world, and have you maybe already approached some of those and work with them?
It depends on the market, I guess. So for grid-scale storage, we're in conversations with a number of entities. But for us, I think the perfect person to talk to would be, the Northvolts of the world who are bringing new cells to the market, people who are trying to compete in that space, and then will need their own battery management system. And so because they're new cells that are coming online, they'll have their own limitations and restrictions and performance characteristics. And so we'd love to see them offer sort of a Brill Power premium module alongside what might be a basic BMS. And then similarly with electric vehicles. So an OEM that's sort of in the design phase of trying to make the next generation intelligent battery pack for their vehicles.
Yes, more questions?
Does this technology also allow you to get more mileage out of your battery packs in terms of identifying components that are failing that can then be replaced so that we don't recycle or get so many batteries that are thrown out?
Yeah, so I guess there's almost two parts to that. There's a question of if a module has failed, and in which case we would be able to know exactly which module had come. So if we wanted to create a modular design of a system, then that would be exactly it. We'd be able to say, this is the module that's about to fail or has failed, and then you could swap in and out. And actually kind of sitting at the core of our purpose is that by drawing power proportional to the capacity in each of the cells, all of the cells will degrade at exactly the same rate, which means that when one cell reaches end of life, they're all reaching end of life. And we're no longer throwing away cells that are still good. As I'm sure you're aware, half the lithium-ion cells that are thrown away have about half of their capacity remaining in them, which is a terrible waste.
Caroline, you're absolutely precise on time, so thank you so much for your fantastic presentation. Let's share a round of applause for our another pitcher. And up next, please welcome the winner of the Automation and AI category, Alice Maffetoli, Business Development Manager at EH Group. She will join us online.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello there.
Good
How are
afternoon,
you?
everyone. I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. We're waiting for your pitch. Just a quick reminder, 5 minutes for your pitch, and then 5 minutes for Q&A. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. We are EH Group Engineering, a company based in Switzerland, and we are focused on the design and manufacturing of fuel cell stacks and systems based on our unique and innovative technology. So our main objective is basically to displace pollutive diesel generators with fuel cell system by solving the problem of cost and complexity in the fuel cell market. Sorry, not working. Okay. At the EH Group, we have redesigned fuel cell stacks at microstructural level, and the result is a more compact and light fuel cell. So it's approximately 2/3 of the volume and 2/3 of the weight of the next best thing in the market. And also, thanks to the way we manage the fluid in the stack, the fuel cell system is simpler, is lighter, cheaper, and due to the fact that it has less parasitic loads, the efficiency at system level is higher. And another important advantage is that our stacks are designed for manufacturing. Since 2018, we have been working with our Swiss industrial partner on the development of fully automated manufacturing machine that will be ready by the end of this year. And this will allow us to drive down the cost to less than 100 euro per kilowatt, which is less than 10% of the actual market price. So our product portfolio includes both stacks and also systems. So our stacks scale up to 250 kilowatt on a single platform, which is a unique feature in the market. In the market, you can see stacks going up to 120, 125 kilowatts. And this is due to the fact that above this power, there is the problem that efficiency drops. Thanks to the way we design our stacks, we don't have this limitation. And so we can go up to 250 kilowatt on a single platform. About our intellectual property, we hold 4 patents, mainly on our core stack technology, and we have a pipeline of 5 additional ones that will also include our manufacturing process. Since 2020, we have been deploying our stacks and system over a large variety of applications, both in the mobility and in the stationary market, also including a cooperation with a large forklift manufacturer and some maritime application. Over the last few months, we have seen a growing interest and facing several requests for large multi-megawatt containerized solution as the one you see in this picture. And also with reference to this, it's important to say that we are finalizing now our first 250 kilowatt fuel cell system. Our stacks have also gone through thermal tests from -20 to +90 degrees, and also vibration tests up to 15G, which is quite relevant for mobile applications, especially for off-road application. So market is expanding rapidly, also thanks to the latest agreements and latest energy security constraints. And regarding competition, there is of course competition, it's a good competition. However, we feel that they all follow the same traditional technology pathway. And because of this, we feel that they will struggle to get the performance number that we get. They will struggle to get the power density that we reach. And also regarding the production process, they are also industrializing the production. But due to their technological approach, we think that they will also struggle to get to the cost reduction that we reach. Our target customers are OEMs, system integrators, energy group, engineering groups that don't have their own stack technology. So with them, we have either a supplier-customer relationship, or we also co-design the system with them based on their requirements and on our fuel cell technology. As you can see in the graph, our cost curve shows that we can reach significant cost reduction already at low volumes, and we strongly feel that this is a big competitive advantage that we have. Regarding some background about the company was founded in 2017 by Mardit Matian, who has over 20 years experience in fuel cell, and Christopher Brandon, who has over 20 years experience in finance and entrepreneurship. And the rest of the team, we are a team of nearly 20, mainly engineers. Something about our financing roadmap. Up to date, we have raised 8 million euro, mainly from the founders and some other non-dilutive fundings, and also from the notable investor AP Venture. We are preparing for our Series A, which will happen soon, between 15 and 20 million euro, with the main objective to migrate from small-scale production to a large-scale production. So what are we looking for? We are looking for partners, mainly long-term investors that share with us the vision of the hydrogen role in the decarbonization process. Thank you for the attention. Yeah, I'm on time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alice, for your fantastic presentation. And now it is time for the questions and answers. We will start with the questions here in the audience, please.
Thanks for the pitch. Regarding the technology that you mentioned on the stack, what is different than traditional fuel cell technology? If you could go a little bit more in details, please.
Yes, of course. So thanks to the way we design our stacks, we can reach a low cell pitch, and also the power density is much higher. So both on volume and on weight, as I told you before, is 2/3 of the weight and 2/3 of the volume. Also from a system perspective, and thanks to the way the stack is designed, we can work with lower pressure of the air, so at cathode side. In general, you will need to reach good performance is 1.5 bar for the air. In our case, 0.5 bar is enough, which means that the compressor can be downgraded. So the system is lighter, cheaper, and but also you have less parasitic loads. So and the system, at system level, the efficiency is much higher. The other advantage we have is that thanks to this, to the compactness of the fuel cell, is that we can go up to 250 kilowatt on a single stack. It's more than the double of what is the next best product in the market. And this for large, especially for large stationary application, is very important. Also, in general, for large application is very important because we can reach the same power with more or less half of the components. For example, for multi-megawatt application, you can connect several 250 kilowatt modules in parallel to reach the multi-megawatt power that you need. And this you can done with half of the components. And then last, for the way we design our stack, the last advantage we have is cost. Because we can, thanks to the production machine, we can completely industrialize the production, which means that our cost curve is lower. I hope this answered your question.
We have a question online. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I think you already partly answered my question, but still, I do see a lot of benefits for your technology in mobile applications. It's really obvious and compliments for that. But if we focus on stationary solutions, can you point to the main reasons why your technology would would really be more attractive where well, form and size are less important, for instance?
Yes, of course. So basically, yeah, it's true that maybe you have less constraint of dimension and weight in stationary application compared to mobile application, but still the fact that the redundancy can be reduced, because for example, for a 1 megawatt application, we can do it with 4 modules, so we can deliver a complete containerized solution with, I mean, just 4 modules, so redundancy is less. Yeah, I would say that this is the main benefit. And then the other one is, of course, cost. As I told you before, with the production, the machine that we will have, we will be able to produce stacks very fast, and also, more importantly, much cheaper. So with this volume, because when we think about a price, we always think about a price per kilowatt. So with this large multi-megawatt application is where the price per kilowatt goes down more rapidly.
Another question we have here in the audience, please.
So first of all, thank you very much for the presentation. And what I was wondering about is, what is the most credible way for you to really reach the numbers that you've been mentioning with regards for the cost out, especially having in mind that a lot of these automotive companies have made huge investments themselves also and are masters in like scale up and cost out?
Yeah, no, it's true, but for the way we design our stack, this machine for the production process will really be a game changer for us. This machine will be ready by the end of this year. It's made of 4 modules, 3 of them are ready, and the other one is being commissioned till the end of this year. So with this machine, not just production time, but also the cost. And the thing is, the real differentiator is that we can industrialize completely the production. We have rolls of raw material at the beginning of the machine, and we get a fully assembled stack at the end. This is not something that you can have with the traditional technology of doing fuel cell stacks.
We still got 30 seconds. Yeah, and we have one more question here.
Thank you. Could you share a little bit more about customer traction and the key customers on the industry segments that you're working with so far?
Yeah. So main customers are both in the mobility and in the stationary application. In general, they are system integrators or energy groups, system integrators that don't have their own fuel cell technology, so they do the system integration of theirs, or energy group, engineering groups. So in the mobility sector, I would say it's more for high power, so starting from trucks, train, aviation, maritime application. In the stationary application is OEMs, energy group, and so on.
Thank you so much,
And
Alice.
with them, sorry.
Yeah, the time's up, so I'm very sorry for that, but it's just 5 minutes. Alice, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you for your enthusiasm. And we are going to digitalization. Yes, so... Oh, no, sorry. We are going to automation and AI. And up next, please, automation and AI. So just guys messed with the, with the scenario. So who should be on the stage, please? Sven? Przewara. Sven, hi, nice to meet you. Sorry, I hadn't you on this scenario.
No
nice
problem.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So for you then 5 minutes and 15 seconds.
No, that's fine. Hi everyone, I'm very happy to be here. Imagine that you could monitor every fixed distributed outdoor asset anywhere from Warsaw to Washington. That's the world we're living in. And during the next 4 minutes and 45 seconds, I'm going to tell you how infrastructure grids and assets globally are going to be maintained and monitored cheaper from space. When my co-founder Daniel and I, who both have a background in aerospace engineering, looked at that graph, we knew we had to start a company in the area of satellite data analytics. During the last few years, we have seen a revolution in the area of space. Prices for launching something into space have come down. And so right now, we have hundreds of satellites orbiting the Earth, taking pictures of every single space here on the surface. And so we said, well, infrastructure grids which are spanning 40 million kilometers anywhere across the globe, and which are really the backbone of our modern industrial society, are primed to be improved through these insights from satellite data. And that's what our mission at LiveHero is. We have seen that these infrastructure grids all have similar processes. There are maintenance processes, there are insurance processes, there are security processes. And to really run these processes effective, you would need a lot of data about the assets which you are maintaining or insuring. But the problem is, this data is not there at the moment. So a lot of processes are run on cycles, on assumptions, or you just have someone drive there or fly there. And obviously, all of this leads to high operational cost, downtimes, and shortened asset lives. So, how do you solve that problem? You need more asset data. And this is exactly what we're doing at LiveHero. We're taking data from a range of satellite vendors, we're combining these data sets, we are putting them in a database, we are applying AI, and we are identifying where the infrastructure grid is exposed to an external threat, and bring these actionable insights to the end users, the workers in the field, the managers in the office, or their back systems. So we handle satellite data end to end. We have 3 different offerings: vegetation management, third-party monitoring, ground information for pipelines, railways, and electrical grids. But because we only have 2 more minutes left, I focus on vegetation management. Vegetation is responsible for 30% of all external outages for overhead lines. Thousands of wildfires are started every single year. $6 billion are spent on vegetation management in the US alone, but still you have this problem. So we help utilities on every continent already to improve these processes by providing visibility alongside the entire network from satellite images. We break this information down into actionable tasks which can be used by the end user. And we bring these insights to the end user through our sets of endpoints and APIs. Utilities are able to save 30% of cost, and they can save CO2 emissions through operational excellence and obviously prevent wildfires. And because of that, enterprises globally already use our solution. As mentioned, we have customers on every single continent on the Earth, which shows the great advantage of satellite image analysis. But we've also done individual projects, such as analyze the entire US transmission network, nearly 1 million kilometers. We've tripled our revenue last year and are now aiming to get to 3.3 to 3.8 million euros this year. And we've set up a US sales office as well as a European sales office to achieve that. We have a team now of around 80 people, with our CTO coming from Morgan Stanley, having a PhD from Cambridge in data science, with our COO, who has been 10 years a consultant at an energy company, and just a great team overall. We've raised so far around $10 million and are now closing our Series B. And what do we want to do with this money? We want to bring the tech stack, which is unique and which is world-leading, into more industries than just the linear infrastructure industry. So if you want to learn more about the benefits of Earth observation insights, if you want to keep the operations, reliability, and safety at your utility in balance, or if you want to team up with us as part of this financing round, I would love to talk to you after this presentation or via mail. Thank you very much.
Sven Shivara, thank you so much. Finally, I got the right, corrections on this scenario. So just to be clear, and it will be clear for our jury as well. So Sven Shivara, co-founder and co-CEO at LiveHero. They are in automation and AI category, and Alice Maffezzoli from EH Group, they were for the hydrogen category. So now we are on the right way, yes. And now 5 minutes. And 5 minutes for questions. So we have questions in audience here.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. Which type of resolution are you using for the satellite data?
So satellite data comes in a range of resolutions. The highest resolution is around about 30 centimeters, but on average it's 50 centimeters in its highest form, all the way to 10 meters resolution. For our clients in the infrastructure sector, we're mainly using 50 centimeter resolution horizontally, so we're able to identify any object bigger than 50 centimeter.
Another question here. Of course, we're going to have questions online. But now let's do, from here.
Okay, thank you. I was just wondering, often electrical utilities that are interested in satellite data to manage vegetation encroachment also use imagery for detecting birds' nest or broken isolators. Do you have any plans to roll out your product stack to include those finer grain capabilities?
Yeah, so this comes always down to the capabilities of satellite imagery. So we look at live view at all use cases which are out there, and we try to identify where's the sweet spot with satellite imagery. Bird's nest, for example, right now wouldn't be one of the sweet spots, right? But vegetation management generally is a very big topic. So we, with our large-scale analytics, can help to identify areas where you might have problems with these kind of things, and then to point them out.
Few questions online. Please go ahead. We've got first a hand from Bloomberg.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One is there a delay from the moment kind of you get the information and the company can action it? And how do you charge your client? Is it based on the amount of data? Is it a subscription-based kind of SaaS type of model?
Yeah, I start with the second one. So it's pretty easy. We have a SaaS offering, and what we price on is assets under monitoring. So how long is your overhead line, how long is your pipeline, and what do we monitor and how frequently? So that's the pricing. It's a subscription business. Regarding the first question, which was exactly about the delay between when something happens on ground and when we report this to the end user. The use cases, for example, vegetation management, ground deformation monitoring, or third-party monitoring, are right now being monitored with a delay of months, if not years. So if we deliver these insights to the end user with a delay of, let's say, a few weeks, that's near real time for the end customer. But yes, there's currently still some delay between when the images are taken or when something happens and when you can monitor this on the satellite images. For the German railway operator, we've already delivered insights within a few hours right within a storm and help them to deal with the effects of storms to the railway network much more effective and quicker than they could do this up to date. Yeah.
Next question we have from company Habana. Please go ahead.
Hi, so I have two questions. Could you talk more about the global competitive landscape, of companies that are doing satellite data analytics, and also how are you dealing with challenges around cloud cover?
Exactly. So first of all, cloud cover, how we deal with cloud cover, what we do is we digitally stitch together different images which have potentially cloud cover in different areas and generate a cloud-free image out of these multiple images which maybe have clouds in different areas. That's the first thing. Second thing is that exactly for some use cases we use radar, which doesn't have any issues with clouds and can penetrate clouds. Regarding the global competitive market landscape, generally speaking, you have a lot of players, for example, building satellites or producing horizontal satellite data analytics. We see ourselves as the front runner when it comes to translating raw satellite imagery really into actionable end users brought to the end user. And we haven't seen any company who's been able to produce these types of large-scale analytics really with this high precision.
Last question online, okay? Just quick, because we have only 40 seconds.
Yeah. Time is running out. So my question is, how do you see the end play for this market? Is it a winner-takes-all industry where you will be the winner and everyone will suffer? Or is it a landscape of many competitors in the end?
I don't think that it's a winner-takes-it-all market because you don't have that many network effects, which are like in a social network or a different play. I think there will be, like in many markets, you will go through for an area of consolidation, and we will believe that we will be one of the big companies who will come out on the other side. Because right now, as said, we are market leading in the infrastructure market, but our unique tech stack allows us to expand horizontally and to really build up a big company from there.
Thank you so much. You're absolutely precise. Once again, let's thank Sven. Let's share a round of applause for him. And moving on, it is my pleasure to introduce Thomas Schleck, CEO and co-founder at EOLogic Sensor Technology, winner of digitalization category. So Thomas will be online. We Yes, we see you. So hello, Thomas. The floor is yours, and five minutes for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. EOLogics, since the beginning, EOLogics is boosting sustainable technologies to secure a sustainable future. We are doing that already on more than 600 turbines with more than 7,000 sensors, and each turbine is improving by 1 to 5% of their AEP, enabling a CO2 reduction only last year of nearly 70,000 tons. At EOLogics, we focus on the challenges in blade monitoring, as we see the blades as the most important part of a wind turbine, and nevertheless, it's also the most unknown part of a wind turbine. Actually, nobody really knows what is going on in the second half of a blade during operation, because it's just empty. There is nothing in there. Blades are tested maybe during design and testing, but not in operation. So the main challenges, three of the main challenges we see here are safety in terms of icing. We already can solve this issue. Also condition monitoring in terms, for example, with blade misalignment measurement. We can also solve this one. And the next one heading to predictive maintenance, for example, blade damage detection. And then there are also many more, but only these three challenges can save up to 3 million euros per turbine life per turbine, or save 12,000 tons CO2 per turbine, just by untapping the underlying potential of each wind turbine. And we do that by hardware and software solutions. So we have a hardware platform that is fixed, stays the same, is based on this one flexible sensor, wireless solar cell, a flexible solar cell for energy production. And we put these applications via software on the platform. In the beginning, only ice, then temperature measurement, now align, and also in the future, other applications, additional analysis and eye capabilities like wake effects, part wake effects, and so on. The nice thing is actually we go directly on the blades with the sensor up to the tip. It is completely independent from all the turbine manufacturers. We don't need SCADA data or anything else. The system is working on its own. It is able to do it on old turbines and new turbines. So during blade manufacturing, the sensors can be applied, but also retrofitted on existing turbines. Also offshore turbines or onshore turbines, it just doesn't matter where to stick the sensors. As I said, we started with ice detection in the beginning, going with automatic restart during icing condition, added the temperature measurement. For example, every GE turbine, Cypress turbine with a heating solution is equipped with our sensors to measure the temperature on the blade. We launched misalignment last year and heading to blade failure next year with the big goal of 5 products till 2025. But wind industry is not the only goal. Afterwards, we're already selling to railway industry. We have research topics in overhead power lines, and also a research topic for ice detection on drones, which is also dramatically increasing. Last year was our best year with 2 million euros in revenue and altogether 3.4 million euro in order intake. And we have quite ambitious plans for the future, doubling every year our revenue and dramatically also increasing our ARRs. We do that by a global market access. So we are already in the option list of certain OEMs like GE, Vestas, Vensis, or Enercon, hopefully more to come. And also directly selling to large accounts like ERG, EDF, and value-added resellers like Phoenix Contact. And feet on the ground, I would say, in Europe, mainly in Austria and Germany, and in the future, hopefully also in North America. We do that at the funds are going to be, we want to raise 6 million euros, which are partly half divided into product roadmap, product development, and market expansion. We have a team of 22 people, highly motivated employees, and a great management team, and also a great investor with the Phoenix Contact Innovation Ventures. I hope I could give you at least a glance at EOLogics. I'm looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thomas, thank you so much for your pitch. You made it on time, and now it is time for questions and answers. We have a question here on the spot.
Thank you for the presentation. 2 questions. How easy it is to install those sensors on the turbine, and do they have any implication on the wind turbine, on the warranty of the wind turbine?
So no, we use standard materials. So the erosion protection tape, for example, is a 3M tape, which is normally also used for erosion protection on blades. The sensor is around 60 grams in weight, and the thickest part is 2 millimeters thick. So we also had tests. There are no tests, no influences on noise or power, or so no aerodynamic influences, and thus also no warranty issues in terms of the manufacturers or the service contracts.
We have more questions here. Go ahead, please. Who would like to be first? Okay, you.
What is the payback for the client? What is the payback period for the client? And what is the acquisition cost of the sensors?
So each application normally has to have a return on invest below 2 to 3 years. Of course, if you have like more application, it's the same platform. This reduces again. We charge between 5 and 10K in one-time sales, and then between 800 and 2K in annual revenues per turbine.
More questions we have here.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, the data collected by these sensors, is that, can that be used in traditional asset management systems to inform the conditional maintenance and so on, or how does that work?
Yes, definitely. That's what we offer. I just didn't mention it because it's kind of a must-have anyway. The data is, of course, also for the operator, can be easily accessed via an API or included into these second-level SCADA systems like Breeze or anything else. That is definitely possible. Also, further development, as we see the data as a very, actually, that all the future applications are based on this data the sensors are generating, right? There is no new hardware developed. It's the analysis that makes the new applications then.
Your question, sir. Okay. I want to ask that, aren't the OEMs already doing some kind of data tracking? So what sort of the differentiation here, and is there some kind of protection like IP?
So the whole system is patented. We have filed several patents actually, also more patents in Europe, North America, and also in Russia. Also granted and more filed for the future applications. The main difference also maybe to other SCADA analytics companies, not only OEMs are doing that, is mainly that we give advice how to avoid the problem. So we're not only telling like, hey, there is a problem, or hey, do you have some imbalances? No, with the system, because it's directly on the blades, you can tell you have to do that, or this is the error to repair it.
We have a question online. Please go ahead.
I'm wondering why you would look into other industries already. Isn't the wind industry big enough for you to focus on and provide the benefits that you described?
Yes, that's what we actually do. We're really focusing on wind industry. Nevertheless, we don't have marketing or sales, but the sensor is so agnostic that we just could sell it to, in this case, was the rail industry, and they used it like without any change. But as you said, at the moment, 100% focus on wind industry. Nevertheless, for example, icing in aircraft is a huge research topic since much longer than in wind industry, and we learned a lot of these research programs we were attending in aircraft, for example.
Do we still have more questions? Okay, one more here on the spot.
A very interesting idea, because you can equip old blades, obviously, rather than just new ones. But like very concretely speaking, once you have the sensors and the information outside of just maintenance, from an operation standpoint, can they do anything with it?
Sorry, can you short repeat that? What they can do with the data?
With the data, how can they improve operations? For instance, can they influence the direction of the wind turbines? Can they slow down the turbine? I mean, because it's not connected to the turbine device itself, because it's something that you set aside?
As you said, definitely, like for example, misalignment measurement has to be corrected, but we can tell how much it is going to be corrected. In this application, it's not like a live operational change, but like a service entrance has to be done and corrected. For the misalignment, for example, for blade damage, the same thing. You detect the blade damage really early, and then you can make a small repair instead of maybe a few months later exchange the blade and have much higher costs.
Thomas, thank you so much. We're already 10 minutes out. Thank you so much once again. I would like to remind you, Thomas Schleck, CEO and co-founder at EOLogic Sensor Technology, winner of digitalization category. And now let's hear it from the e-mobility winner. Please welcome Alex Ivanenko, co-founder and CEO at HighPoint. He will be online. Hello there.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today?
We are fine. We hope that you are fine too, because you have only 5 minutes for your pitch. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Alex Ivanenko. I'm the co-founder and CEO of HighPoint. We are enabling zero-emission air transport. Aviation, as other industries, goes electric. And there is a lot of market opportunities. And actually, you can't solve the problem of climate change without zero CO2 emission electric vehicles. But the arrival of this type of vehicles have been limited by energy limitation of existing power sources. Existing lithium batteries cannot store enough energy to execute air transport along long missions. At the same time, existing fuel cells, which may be based on low temperature membrane, simply cannot deliver enough power to lift off the ground for any vehicles. And we solve this issue by building the next generation hydrogen fuel cell system with both high specific power and high energy density, exactly what aircraft designers are looking for. And today, we can easily do 2 kilowatts per kilogram at system level, which actually is more than enough for existing helicopters and small regional aircraft. But recently, we signed a partnership deal with BASF, and the aim of this collaboration to create a single cells which could bring us to the next level of specific power, up to 4 kilowatts per kilogram, which is very, very sufficient for narrow-body aircrafts, while our competitors still have 1,000 watts per kilogram at system level because they have a problem with cooling. Fundamentally, existing fuel cells cannot be integrated in air vehicles because they require a very, very heavy cooling system. Our system is much lighter because we are replacing the membrane and increase temperature of the chemical reaction. And that approach allowed us to cool our system with air. Simply put, existing fuel cells is heavy because they use liquid to cool. Our system is much lighter because we use air to cool. And actually, high temperature membrane is not a new technology. It was invented more than 20 years ago and has been implemented in stationary applications. The problem is that high temperature membrane creates a chemically toxic environment that require durable and heavy materials, components like graphite within the stack, which makes system very heavy and inapplicable in aviation. We found a solution how we replace graphite with aluminum bipolar plates. At the same time, we created and invented new coating, which is protect our aluminum from this toxic environment. And of course, we also did special new system architecture of the fuel cell, which we call turbo air cool system. And these core innovations are protected by 6 patents application and 5 know-hows. And our traction speaks for itself. We see a lot of interest from top-tier companies, and right now we have 4 paying customers in our portfolio, which more than $8 million in development agreements. And those agreements, represent existing order books, which we have for more than 600 megawatts, starting from 2025, as soon as we will get successful certification process. If all of that will be executed, it could generate revenue up to $1 billion next 10 years. And all that is possible because of an exceptional team. My co-founder, Brian, he's the father of fuel cells, and he's an inventor of high-temperature membrane. My other co-founder, Sergey, he spent more than 15 years in fuel cell research and development, and Sergey was a member of Gisborne Group, who was a Nobel Prize physicist. Myself, I'm PhD in electrochemistry and built my career in international business development. We have a very strong advisory board. I would say that we are really leading the way in fuel cell research and development, and our team is able to address any complicated question and risk. So, and where we are now in terms of product development. This year, in the beginning of this year, we launched our manufacture site in United Kingdom, Kent County. So, in this year will be very, very important for High Point because we really moved to the hardware stage. In a couple of weeks, we will present and introduce to the market single power module, which will be the core product part of the company. Because scaling and achieving necessary power level for any flying platform, you just need to range together necessary quantity of these single power modules. So we have technology, proven track record, and a team that has the potential to revolutionize the multi-billion-dollar aviation industry globally. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm ready to answer any questions.
Alex, thank you so much. We need to share a round of applause for Alex's enthusiasm. And yes, we do have 5 more minutes, and we're going to have the questions. Where do we start? Here on the spot, please.
Yeah, you mentioned about the flight range. What could it be? Because I mean, hydrogen is quite heavy, so how would you cope with that?
This is a good question, but hydrogen is not heavy. Hydrogen is the lightest element in the world. And actually, but I think you mean that the storage system for hydrogen is heavy. And that's true. And recently, by the way, a couple of weeks ago, we signed a partnership deal with GTL company, who is a manufactured liquid hydrogen storage. And with this liquid hydrogen storage for turboprops -8-300, we can do really transatlantic flights. So for more than 4,000 kilometers, if I remember correctly. So the question is long duration is a question of hydrogen storage, but of course also the weight of the fuel cell stack. And our system is the lightest in the world.
Okay, we have one question online from Ivana, please.
How do you look at pricing power, for the solution that you're building, given that the market is largely controlled by 2 large players?
Excuse me, could you repeat your question because it's the echo and it's complicated to recognize some words. Yeah.
Sure. So my question to you is that your customer concentration is largely going to be with 2 large players, Airbus and Boeing. And so how do you look at your ability to price your solution to these guys?
So it's easy. Right now, as I said, so we have Airbus in our portfolio. We're actually speaking with all top tier guys. And this is a typical path for aviation that they come to me and say, Alex, so we would like to have 300 helicopters starting from 2026. What we have to do then? I said, before that, we have to execute a development agreement, which we are signing right now with those customers I mentioned in my presentation. And so this is a 3-5 years execution. And this is starting from feasibility study, building the prototype, building flying demo, certification process, ground test, and et cetera, et cetera. So everything is covered. That is why I'm so confident that I completely understand what will happen with the company next 5-7 years. Because aviation market is a very, very predictable if you provide the right solution for those folks.
We have several questions here in the conference hall. Who would like to be the first? You? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was thinking that what kind of speeds can these planes with the system achieve? So are we sort of limited to shorter range and not these long-haul flights with this system?
His first question about the speed of the aircraft. So actually, It's not my question. It's a question of my customers because we are a provider the energy solution. For instance, when I speak with my customers, they provide me very, very specific requirements to flight modes, takeoff, cruise, landing, I don't know, everything. And based on their requirements, we build specific system based on their, as I said, technical requirements. Actually, we're just a turbine, let's say turbine provider. We don't care about the speed and flight of the aircraft. Sorry,
Okay.
but this will be my answer.
Thanks for the answer. One more question here in the conference hall. Is it working?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Can your product be retrofitted to existing passenger aeroplanes, or do we need a new aeroplane design?
That is exactly initial market for us. We are retrofit, so we are teaming with Zero Avia, for instance, who is building retrofit turboprop, and we are the components, certain components in that retrofit turboprops. So we are fuel cell. We are between hydrogen storage and electric motor. But you're right, absolutely. So, but at the same time, we have a few developments, new developments, like a project we have with Secure Aircraft Corporation. One more customer in my now portfolio, they're designing new helicopter, P890, and our system, and they design their helicopter around our system.
Last
so
quick
we
question.
can do both. Yeah, sorry.
We have last quick question from online, 30 seconds left. Please go ahead.
Yes. Certification is a main issue, obviously. So what is the biggest problem or risk that certification might not fall in place? What nightmares keep you awake at night on that?
That we would like to understand too. So we started already working, and if you remember my presentation last slide, I showed that we have already started certification process because we are teaming with FAA and creating a special condition for our fuel cell. And depends on their requirements, we would like to understand exactly what should be, how we should architecture, certainly designed our system to satisfy their requirements. This is what we are working on. But specialists and other advisors and really experts from the industry completely, I'm going to say me that, Alex, in your system is not fundamental limitation to get certifiable system in place in a couple of years. It's just a process, which we have already started work in November last year.
Alex Ivanenko, co-founder and CEO at High Point. Thank you so much for your pitch. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you.
Last but not least, please welcome the winner of Future Grid category, Fabian Lemke, co-founder and CEO at Nuventura. Hello there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yours in 5 minutes for you.
Yes. So let's see whether I'm competent enough this time to push the green button. SF6, or sulfur hexafluoride, is the strongest greenhouse gas that humanity knows. It's 25,000 times stronger than carbon dioxide. And that is why its relatively small amount of emissions is actually comparable to the emissions of 100 million cars per year. Now, the use of SF6 is projected to increase by 75% until 2030 compared to 2019. And the reason for that is its main use case, and that is switchgear. Switchgear come in different forms. They, especially SF6 switchgear, come in high voltage and medium voltage applications. In medium voltage applications, you see them in substations and also in transformer stations, and that's what we focus on. But in principle, all switchgear follow one very simple use case. They are there to protect and connect all the components of electricity grids. So whenever we add a wind turbine or a solar PV park, or we connect a factory or a housing area, we always need switchgear because they are the nodes where the grid connects, and also they are used to protect certain sections of the grid. Now, the demand for such medium voltage switchgear, which we focus on, is going to increase tremendously, and that is because of the energy transition. We have more renewables connected, more electrification, EV charging, and also strengthening of the grid. These are all reasons why we will see a growth of demand for switchgear. And that, of course, also intensifies the use of SF6 if we don't change anything. Now, the regulators they are looking into banning SF6. In fact, they have already drafted regulation. So, for example, in the EU, it's supposed to start in 2026 for medium voltage and full ban until 2030. In the US, the CARB in California is planning on 2025, also drafted regulation, and in China, the regulator is also preparing for regulation. So it's clear we need an alternative, and that's exactly what Noventura is working on. So we have replaced SF6 with dry air in our switchgear for medium voltage range. And this product we have fully functional like an SF6 product. It's fully certified for use, and it's also proven in the field. And this technology we actually license to manufacturers. So we provide the knowledge and some components, and then the manufacturer assembles and sells it to the end user. So we're an enabler, and this enablement is happening in these two ways. We provide the IP, which is our patents, designs, processes, quality documentation, and training also. And then on the other side, on the other hand, we are also providing them with sub-assemblies and components. Now, this enables us to have two kinds of revenue streams. On the one hand side, we have a recurring revenue from a yearly IP fee, and on the other hand, we have a consumption-based revenue, which is based on the components that we sell. Now, where have we come so far? Well, in 2017 we started. In 2018 we had this really ugly first prototype tested in the grid of Westnet's Energy, and that was our first step into proving that the technology actually works. And then we worked on type testing, certifying our technology, because everyone said, well, you need to show us that we can actually deploy it. So we are type tested for many regions in the world and can deploy the technology. And in the meantime, we also worked on reference installations so that we could prove in the normal field that our product actually works. This is what we have realized in 2021, and in parallel, we started to build our licensing partnerships, which you see over here, and those guys are the ones that are essentially then selling into their local markets. Now, this setup is the reason why we have already achieved now our ordering targets for this year. So we simply cannot do more this year, and that's also what's sort of on our agenda as next. We need to build up more partnerships, and we have a couple of partnerships in the pipeline. And also we need to transition as a company from an R&D company towards a global technology provider with manufacturing and also joint ventures in other markets. Now, we're currently raising our Series A round. We have raised 10 million so far, and now we want to raise another 10. It's pretty simple. And with this, we want to commercialize the company and make the next step. And I think we have a well-balanced team for that, people from the switchgear area and also from entrepreneurship. So I guess we are set for this.
Fabian, thank you so much. 5 minutes already passed, and we need time, 5 more minutes for questions. And of course, we're going to wait for your answer. So who would like to start? Who would like to be the first asking the question? Yeah, we have here on the spot, and then probably we will have some questions online.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fabian, is it possible to device onto existing switchgears, or do they have to replace the whole component?
So it's not possible to retrofit it with switchgear from another brand. Yeah. So usually everyone has their own setups, but most of the installations that you see, especially in the primary substation range where we are positioned right now, is that you actually have a full replacement of the switchgear of all the panels, and then a new equipment is installed. So the market that I've shown you is also the market of new installations. So it's not a projected market of some retrofits, but rather the projected market for the products that are going to be bought from manufacturers of switchgear. Yeah.
Next question we also have here in the audience, please.
You mentioned part of your revenue stream coming from licensing your IP. I'm always a little bit wary that you're giving away a big chunk of your profit margin through that and potentially licensing it to your future competition, as it were? Can you just expand on the logic for that?
Well, it's actually, our approach is actually to enable those manufacturers who do not have the capability themselves to design such a product. And we see them as partners in such a way that they are our arm into the local customer base. So we would have to build up a global sales team, a global supply chain if we wanted to serve all these customers all around the world. So with this licensing approach, yes, we give away a certain share of the value chain, but on the other hand, we win a possibility to standardize. So what we're providing is sub-assemblies of standardized components, and then our licensing partners, they are doing the customization part for the end customer. So essentially, it's actually a good mix and a win-win situation.
We have a few questions online. Please go ahead.
Yes, Fabian, if you want to build your company as you think you will need strong negotiators in your team, commercial negotiators, to defend your IP, to win commercial deals. Are you ready for that yet? But because I think I see a very talented technical team. Is there enough savviness and experience in complicated commercial deals with bigger organizations yet?
Well, let me answer with a hire that joined us last year. We actually managed to hire a global product manager from ABB who was working in their SF6-free product for almost a decade, and he decided to join us, and he has been on the sales side for ABB for quite some time. So I think, yes, we do have the experience, particularly from that switchgear field. And on the other hand, we also that's the partnership that we are aspiring to have, or that we do have with our partnering companies. They are actually the salespeople who are selling to their end customers, and they know their customers much better than we do. That's why we also have that split of the work. Yeah. But yeah, we are selling also.
Next question online.
Hi, how does your competition look like right now, and what's the pipeline of competition in relation to regulations that are upcoming? And the other part is, what are the alternatives between the SF6 and dry air? Is there anything else at all that competitors are building?
So first part of the question, what is the competition? I'm going to focus on medium voltage, where we are positioned. On the technical side, our competition are companies like Siemens, Schneider Electric, and ABB, or Eaton. These are the main companies that are actually developing alternatives to SF6 switchgear. Why I'm saying on the technical side, we don't actually have a problem with them being in the market with us. Right now, we are the only company in the world that has a 36 kV dry air application. So that is something that no one else has, but we don't mind them actually joining us in that space as well, because we differentiate ourselves on the business model side as well. So we are enabling all these tier 2, tier 3 manufacturers, and they serve actually 60% of the total market. And those guys, they're not our competition, they're our partners, and they don't have the ambition and also capability to do the R&D.
Fabian,
So,
I see that time's up, but I really would like to give the opportunity to speak to one of our jury members who was listening to you online, and just a couple seconds away, his hand was raised. Maybe you would like to say a few words and quick question to Fabian.
Yes, Fabian, thank you very much. But I think Carolus exactly asked my question. That's why I lowered my hand. So let's stay on time.
Okay, so it means that's it. Thank you so much, Fabian. And once again, let's share a round of applause for Fabian Lemke, co-founder and CEO, and Nuventura. And we're going to have a short break, but this is break just for, final results, because our jury will give their votes, and after that we immediately will know who is the winner. But that break will be very short, and for that break we have a very special thing to you from our main sponsor, E.ON. because they made a really lovely video, which we would like to show you to everybody here at the conference or there online. And that is the video with your ideas. How could we be better citizens of the planet A? Because we do not have planet B. It's all about the ideas. It's all about the ideas how we may help the planet. So let's watch the video.
I think the easy answer to this question of what can we do today to make a better tomorrow really starts with what are the costs that we are willing to pay today.
We should adopt a green mindset, educate others, and invest with a purpose.
We as individuals can be more conscious and aware about the decisions that we take in everyday life, such as the food we eat, the clothes we wear, and the transport we use.
This corporate should be open to supporting startups and creating an environment where everyone can collaborate and test new innovations and new approaches.
We need to vote for the right people.
Walk more, cycle more, and smile more. And tomorrow will be a better day.
Be a role model for your kids and friends. Take care of your food habits, save energy, and use the public transport.
Take action, be efficient, and collaborate.
I think that we can make a better tomorrow by making small changes today.
We need to not waste stuff, be optimal. Use the things that we need to use and leave alone the things that need to be left alone.
So nobody will change the world and make it better unless we all do our small steps, each of us.
It starts with, first thing I think it starts with education. It's a #1 priority. The world would be a much better place if we had a more educated world. It would reduce and probably eliminate a number of risks and also a number of issues that we have at the moment.
It's all about the small things, like stop eating meat, planting trees, reducing the consumption of water and of paper, and in a bigger picture for companies getting interested in investing for a better future, like in new technologies, new innovations, saving energy in the daily office days. I think these small steps is what will in fact create a better tomorrow.
I think that we should, in order to make our future better, we will have to invest more into cutting-edge technologies.
Fastly have to get out of fossil fuels and out of fossil material. We immediately have to change to biomaterials. We immediately have to change to bioenergy. And otherwise, we will have a big problem.
Concrete actions could be, first of all, reach out to other parts of society, might be that academia or other departments in your company, and make sure you enable the right environment for collaboration. And second of all, believe in bold ideas and believe in human creativity. You can drive change from within.
I believe that by just being human, being compassionate, first to yourself, to others, and the world around us, that you've already made a big step in creating a better ecosystem. I also truly, truly believe that just by being a curious human being, you are already a step ahead of creating a better tomorrow.
Thank you for that, Ian. And it's not just the video, because for every idea, company Ian will plant a tree. So we will have more forests in the world. And I hope that more people will attend our conferences, more forest will be greener, right? Ian, you promised to do that. So thank you so much for that. And finally, we've got the results, and it's time to announce the winner. For that, I kindly invite back to the stage Rokas Specialitis. Please welcome.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, we may try to do it together, all together, all right? So let's make a countdown from 5, okay? Let's start.
Go.
So all together now. 5,
4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So I want to invite Fabian on stage. Congratulations. So that was a great pitch, and thanks for joining us here, and I think deserves another round of applause. And continue building what you're doing. I think that's the most important part. And there's only one challenger, so you're the ultimate challenger. So congratulations.
Sorry, I will give you the mic, so you will have your winner speech.
So I want to thank my mom. No, honestly, I mean, I'm quite surprised. So I really got nothing else to say, but thank you very much. I think it's great that you supporting hardware startups, and well, I saw a lot of great pitches today, so I'm really surprised. Thanks.
Congratulations to Fabian. So once again, thank you for the winners. And now it is time for the closing remarks from Rokas Specialitis.
I think thanks for those who stayed till the end. I think it's been long 3 days, and haven't seen each other for quite some time, so it's good to see new faces and meet new ones. But I think I want to say really thanks to companies, startups, VCs. I think it's all about collaboration and working together as we kind of, you know, we had a lot of dialogues around today in a lot of the sessions, and hopefully you learned something new and actually met people who you'll do potentially business or invest. But most importantly, thanks to all the sponsors, to E.ON and BP and FEV, and there's so many of them, over 46. So really thanks a lot for supporting the ecosystem. I think the reason why, you know, initially starting doing this conference was to foster the dialogue. And, you know, it's not only the dialogue, it's not only the talk, but also the walk. And we have this great year 2022, and we have 8 years till the first net zero goal. And I think time is really, really running fast. So acceleration is the word that I leave you. We started with resilience, we go with acceleration into 2020. So thanks everyone, and I think give yourselves a round of applause.
Many thanks to Rokas Specialitis, and we would like to thank everybody who joined us on this conference here in Warsaw or virtually. And Energy Tech Summit 2022 says goodbye, and we'll meet next year. Bye-bye.
We know a thing or two about growth. Over the last 100 years, we've grown and evolved to get pretty good at certain things. World-class projects, global infrastructure, technology at scale. But how do we adapt for the next 100 years? In nature, you don't get to choose how. You take the hand you're dealt. And if the environmental conditions become too challenging, hard luck. That's natural selection. At BP Ventures, we're able to forge our own destiny. We look deeply into the changing energy landscape to search out the right avenues to develop our future, finding the partners and opportunities that allow us to improve on our strengths and build interesting new ones. From new battery technology or cognitive AI, to growing a network of EV charging stations, and adding solar projects to our capabilities. We're highly discerning, because these new ideas and technologies aren't mere additions to a portfolio. They're vital pieces of the puzzle that we seek to integrate into the world's energy systems. harnessing each of our strengths to transition together. Because when we collaborate, everyone benefits. It takes us all to new heights. BP Ventures, connecting and growing new energy businesses.
Doing business responsibly is now a mainstream issue, and we empower better business through traceability. Global supply chains are big emitters of greenhouse gases, with a lack of transparency in terms of raw product sourcing and ethics around them. Our mission is traceability and due diligence of raw materials, from source to manufacturer, with a current focus on the minerals used in electrical vehicles and consumer electronics. To achieve this, we're using blockchain alongside traditional databases and machine learning to establish a new global standard for ethically and sustainably sourced minerals. How do we do this? By reliably giving a commodity an identity and tracking it through the supply chain, together with greenhouse gas emissions and ESG data, along the journey from mine to consumption to recycling and reuse. Circular empowers businesses to fully analyse, track and manage their supply chains to drive and prove responsible sourcing and recycling. Circular. Empowering better business through traceability.
There's never been a time in history when electricity is more important to our economy and our way of life. Electricity powers all of our critical infrastructure, our economy, healthcare, education, you name it. The electric power industry is facing the greatest disruptions in its 120-year history. EIP is an essential tool for utilities to cope with these changes successfully.
Our approach is very simple. We work with some of the leading utilities and energy companies in the world, helping them plot a path into the future. We provide them with insights and information about new technologies, business models. They in turn help us find and screen what we believe have the potential to be the winners in the space, in the segments that matter to them. And then together we work hard on making them successful. Everybody wins.
We pioneered this investing model while we were at GE, and we're applying it here at Energy Impact Partners.
I've been working in the venture capital industry for 20 years. We learned a lot of lessons during that period, the Clean Tech 1.0 era. Many of the startups worked in opposition to the electric utilities. It turns out that was a mistake.
Utilities need to change their business models. Innovators need to work with and partner with the utility industry and with our investors. What's unique about the EIP process is the collaboration which occurs between the utilities and the innovators. It creates a win-win-win situation. A win for the innovators because they can deploy their product, a win for our utility investors because they can see the future and deploy into that future, and a win for us at EIP.
What really separates a good strategic investor from a great one, and I think EIP really is a great strategic investor, is how much or how successful they are at capturing the attention of the industry that they're serving. And I think that EIP has been incredibly successful.
Selling to utilities has historically been very difficult, and we look to make that process much easier by connecting our portfolio companies to our 15 global utilities.
The beauty of our model is that when you bring together the best innovators in the space with our incredible partner network, great things can happen.
Energy Impact Partners has been indispensable for us. The breadth of their relationships around the world has been hugely beneficial to AMS, and some of their portfolio companies are some of the top technology partners that any company could hope to have.
Venture investing is becoming a critically important strategy tool for Southern Company. EIP can move quickly to source and execute on deals while we focus on bringing new products and services to our customers.
Every 6 weeks, we gather our partners and our utilities here in the office to hear from some of the most promising, exciting companies. We like to call it our little energy shark tank, and it's a great way for us to hear and learn from companies whether we invest in them or not.
We work hand in hand with each of our utility partners to understand their strategic priorities and to help them collaborate with the companies in our portfolio who are most likely to have a positive impact on their business.
And the insights that we're getting from that deal flow and from the EIP portfolio companies are helping us reimagine what our business model looks like in the future.
It provides us an incredible financial vehicle to access innovative technologies, but it also provided us a very collaborative framework to work with other industry participants solving our customer needs through new technologies with partner companies.
We're conservative investors. While we want to capture the upside, we really focus on protecting against the downside.
We respect each other and our partners. We're in this together.
So the credit fund is an extension of EIP's traditional, equity capabilities. We can now provide debt finance solutions to companies across their life cycle, whether they're growth or mature stage, and structure that debt in a way that addresses their specific needs at the time.
They've really sort of joined the management team and helped us understand what utilities need, where the market's going, what products are important, not just to residential customers, but to utilities too.
Together with our partners, we are saving electricity, reducing greenhouse gases, and simultaneously we are having an impact on the energy landscape by making it smarter and cleaner.
If you want to know something, hear it from the best.
I don't even know what I said.
Oh, yeah. I should probably write this down. We're talking game-changing, mission-starting, growth-accelerating global leaders.
I'm a bridge builder, tech investor, CEO and founder,
innovation scout.
So I'm a partner, entrepreneur, investments,
and I'm curious. The ones who thought of it, said it, wrote the code for it, invented it. The ones you might know and the ones you should know. They're all right here, virtually.
Future fuel. It's future fuel. People who are hungry for change. Something that actually just makes me feel good. Just one thing.
The next best idea.
Brilliant ideas into clear solutions. Thank you for coffee at Future Fuel.
Start up your day with innovations, game changers. This is how you fuel your future.
Sabia que somos líderes na geração de energia solar na Península Ibérica?
Un negocio en crecimiento en comercialización de electricidad renovable y recarga de vehículo eléctrico.
And a world-class upstream position.
Mas as mudanças estão aí. As pessoas querem mais. Os nossos clientes exigem mais. E nós esperamos mais de nós próprios.
Debemos tener claro nuestro propósito, hacia las personas, hacia la sociedad y hacia el planeta.
Y el momento de actuar es ahora.
Let's refresh our relations with society, communities, connecting through our commitment to improve lives.
Vamos redefinir o nosso portfólio e reduzir a intensidade de CO2 da energia que produzimos e também a dos produtos que vendemos aos nossos clientes.
Vamos recriar a forma como trabalhamos, capacitando as nossas equipes, acreditando que todos podemos atingir o melhor potencial.
Vamos liderar o nosso setor a caminho de futuro onde protejamos o nosso planeta.
Delight our customers.
Re-energizing our talent and making Galp a great place to work. Let's regenerate the future together.
Every single day, we face choices about what we buy, what we eat, how we travel. Every single day, we can make a difference, taking little steps towards making our world a better place to live. Not acting now will have huge consequences on the quality of life on the planet. Change starts with every single one of us. It's time to step up. My mom wants to save the planet.
Daddy makes our garden green. They use a computer to save the world.
At InVen, we have one mission. We help startups.
As a venture capital fund, we invest money from institutional investors and global corporates. We partner with the most innovative startups with one purpose: to hand over a blue and green planet to our kids.
We nurture new leadership to make an impact, influence others, and enable thousands of job opportunities where diversity of gender, culture, and religion matters.
Although we are analytical, fact-based investors, more importantly for us, it is empathy that helps us ask the right questions and provide sound guidance and support for our startups. Simply, we believe in the soul of a winner.
The founders of the startups that we invest in are visionaries with integrity and a view to the bigger picture. They're driven less by profit than by the impact they can make. They have the strong inner motivation to help them get through difficult times.
InVen is a team of women and men from different backgrounds and nationalities, professional investors and parents. We use our talents, knowledge and passion to find and support the most impactful startups in the clean tech industry.
Leaner Energy is developing a solid-state sodium battery technology which doesn't include any cobalt or any lithium, and it's using a chemistry set which was used many, many years ago. And what we're doing is we're just re-engineering it using modern materials science and modern materials engineering.
This is a really good chemistry. It can be used in all sorts of applications, sort of grid, renewable support, electrification of vehicles, all these really big future and becoming really quite current topics which we really need to address as a sort of global community.
What excites me about the technology is how beautifully simple it is and how it really does solve a big problem that we have in the transition to sort of net zero from fossil fuel to full renewables, full electrification.
It's in a market that's really growing, so it's something that really excites me because it's different. Everybody's looking at lithium, you know, it's been done to death. This is something that's new, different, and tackles a number of the problems that lithium can't really meet. So that's why it's quite exciting for me.
It's a rare opportunity to actually get the chance to design something that that is truly important for us as human beings for the future.
Vegetation coming into contact with overhead lines is a major cause of power outages. LiveEO uses satellite data to identify risks to power grids from vegetation. These insights make vegetation management more efficient and service more reliable. But how does the information from space get to the forest worker on the ground? Here's how it works. There are several hundred Earth observation satellites orbiting our planet. These satellite constellations are run by different operators. The satellites differ in terms of the quality and resolution of the images they capture, how often they pass over the same location, and what wavelength range their sensors can record. LiveEO uses APIs with multiple satellite operators to automatically acquire the right imagery for the areas close to the overhead lines along the entire network. Our machine learning algorithms analyze the satellite imagery and identify vegetation. The algorithms can not only detect the tree's location, but also their height, as well as their species and vitality. Knowing where the vegetation is and what its condition is, the system applies risk models to the analysis. It evaluates the risk posed by vegetation being close to the asset and of trees that could fall into the power lines. Based on the risk assessment, the system automatically generates and prioritizes maintenance and inspection tasks. Utilities vegetation managers have access to all this information via LiveEO's web application and can assign tasks to subcontractors. Ground workers access tasks assigned to them via LiveEO's mobile app, so they know exactly where to go and what to do. They perform cutbacks and inspections and document their work directly in the app. This way, vegetation managers are always up to date on the state of vegetation along their network and can act before outages occur.
founded in 1998, commercialized fusion power we developed based on work I did with my brilliant mentor and PhD advisor, Norm Rostocker at the University of California, Irvine. What we were after was really a different way to develop fusion. The goal was to have something that's economic, free of any kinds of environmental impact, and has abundant fuel source. We started in 2000 with what we lovingly called the sewer pipe, which was our first generation device. In fact, it uses all the same technologies and principles that you find on Norman and our 5th generation machine back here. Norman is a progression of ever more sophisticated national lab scale devices to get us to that point of proof of science. To now scale forward to its successor, which we call Copernicus.
3, 2, 1, 0, liftoff.
Just like when NASA went to the moon in the 60s and developed tons of technology that spilled over into our life today, so we here at TAE Technologies have taken a lot of the things we developed for fusion that now have unique capabilities in other adjacent spaces. This is the kind of synergy that you will see happening more as we mature technologies. As proud as I am about the developments we've accomplished, it really comes down to the people and the teamwork among these people to support such a quest. We've put together some of the best people on the planet necessary to do the work. And that is as much the character of TAE as our innovative spirit and our ability to drive the cutting edge. After over 20 years of revolutionary, groundbreaking work, we're finally at the point to attack the 21st century's most existential problem, which is how to grow population and meet the demand for energy without hurting the environment. In addition, there's the incredible opportunity with the spin-offs, which can also help to contribute in incredibly meaningful ways to improve the quality of life for all of mankind.